Simucube are about to revolutionize sim racing with the Simucube 3 technology, but not because of what you may think. Come find out what we mean. Greetings from me, you're watching WromWrom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and a special coverage from the Sim Racing Expo 25. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. From my limited time using the Simucube 3 wheelbase, thanks to ImSim and Simucube for the opportunity to do so, the Simucube 3 isn't revolutionary because of its force feedback. That technology is already mature. What's revolutionary is the conceptual work they've done further away from the motors, solving the issue I addressed in one of my latest videos concerning hardware and software compatibility. They're solving the problem we all hate, spending hours convincing our sims to recognize hardware that worked perfectly yesterday.
When we released the Simucube 3, it was not only about the new wheelbase, it was also the entire ecosystem, these interfaces that we try to create to bring the sim racing forward, for third-party manufacturers to develop on, based on our communication protocols and software platforms.
Simucube have created an API, basically a universal translator between sims and hardware, for all sims to talk in the same language to the Simucube hardware. It's released as open source under one of the most extensive and free open source licenses, the MIT license, and freely available so that any sim company can take a look at the source and find out how to best use this translation layer, produce their own versions and integrate it into their own code. Here's what this means practically. With this API, your active pedals could simulate brake fade differently for each car automatically because the sim and pedals speak the same language. Right now, that's not possible.
In our mind, the API is basically the channel how the game developers can also utilize the possibilities in our products. Because right now we are basically creating artificially the effects for the pedals, but in the future the game studios are able to implement completely different ways of controlling, for example, the active pedals, how they feel for different cars, brake fading, these kind of effects that are not possible at the moment.
Of course, right now this API only works with Simucube hardware. No surprise here, and addresses concepts like the active pedals with their extensive and flexible responses to what the sims communicate. At the moment, the way sim racing hardware and software communicate in general is through a very old communication protocol from Microsoft, which is from the time dinosaurs roamed the earth, and it doesn't know DD wheelbases exist, let alone active pedals. Simucube's API would modernize that communication layer and make it sim racing specific. It could lead to easier integration of any type of hardware with sim racing software. But there's an important issue here. Simucube has only released the communication from and to the software as open source for anyone to use. They are discussing internally what to do with the layer towards hardware. But right now, that layer only works very specifically with Simucube hardware, especially the Simucube 3 devices and the active pedals, but I'm sure they will be able to use it with Simucube 2 systems. Here's why this matters. The more hardware companies start using the API, the easier it will be for us to use hard and software that use that API, thus avoiding hours and hours of fiddling with our software and hardware to have them talk to each other. And the more sim racing companies in general start using that API, the more probable it is that companies will invest time in keeping that API alive. Here's what Simucube needs to understand. If they keep the hardware layer proprietary, this brilliant idea dies. History proves this. Open standards win. And they should know this better than anyone. They're Finnish. Linus Torvalds, born and raised in Finland, gave us Linux by going full open source. And look how that turned out. Opening up fully would benefit everyone, including Simucube. And hey Simucube team, if you're watching, we want to help make this happen, call us. I understand Simucube's hesitation, there are technical challenges and they want strategic advantage, but these are solved problems in the open source world. Now, I know this sounds like inside baseball, but stick with me because this affects every single one of you watching. The opposite direction means this API dies a sad death. Been there, seen that in enough IT projects. What Simucube are doing is clever and exactly what SimRacing needs. They had the right idea from the start, now they need to go through with it. My plea: lower the entry hurdles for other hardware manufacturers to a minimum. Open source the hardware layer or make licensing free or dirt cheap and easy for any manufacturer. The whole community would profit, as would Simucube. If you want to see more coverage of innovations that actually matter, hit subscribe. And if you're at a sim company watching, the community is ready for this. Let's make it happen.